Three, two, one. Hey, Internet friends. This is MagicBrad, Synergy Cafe, and the Synergy Collaborative. And I'm here in Minneapolis, Minnesota with my friend Alan. And your last name is pronounced Prince.
Pritz. Yeah, like
kind of like Prince, formerly known as
like
Pritz.
Well, it's easier for people to think the crackers with the P.
Oh, there you go.
So Pritz, right?
P. Ritz. I
Right.
got that. Look at that. Now it's got that visual in my head. So I do these interviews and I do them kind of quick, and then what happens is we take them, we propagate them out to the internet, and then people can find them mysteriously, and who knows what might happen. So one of the first questions is, who are you?
Okay.
You married? You got kids? What?
Sure. Well, occupationally or officially, I'm an Interfaith minister, and I'm spiritually a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. And married, no kids, yeah, basically been in the Twin Cities area for quite a while. Not from here originally. I'm from Cincinnati. Mother was Turkish, father, here, there. But so interesting background, international background, and so a long time in the trenches of doing what I do.
Well, you kind of answered part of it. I was going to say, what is it you do? And I know that you teach like yoga and meditation and some other things. So what do you do with your
Well,
practice?
actually, at this point in time, my calling has always been to teach. And I'm no longer actively teaching Hatha Yoga classes. I used to have a couple centers. They were meditation-based yoga centers. But my real passion is with meditation. And the kind of meditation that I teach is rooted in the tradition of Yogananda. So I would say it's yogically rooted, but the principles are universally applicable. So anybody, regardless of faith orientation, can take and practice and apply the principles, precepts, and techniques that I share. I have a coaching and consulting teaching practice in Minneapolis. Where we're at right now is my office, where I work with individuals and couples. And the folks that come see me are coming to expedite their learning curve with meditation, with spiritual practice, or to seek counseling in spiritual matters, because I am an interfaith minister and well-versed in a variety of different things, or coaching about life issues. And the thing that they like about me is that I have a lot of skills and a spirituality component that I can bring to the picture so that it's not just two-dimensional. Corporately, I also will provide meditation training programs, retreats, and things. But, that's something that I enjoy doing if people are interested. Yet I'm not really, where some people are at is really looking at how to boost health and creativity, and while I recognize those as being really viable byproducts, I'm much more interested in the personal growth, the spiritual development, so that tends to not always attract the corporate clients as much as I might like.
Sure, I understand. They might have some, we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
So we're in your office right now. Now you don't teach yoga in this office because it's very small. Well, maybe you could. You could throw a mat down there and do some stuff.
I could, but I leave that to other folks that are really in, that's their passion. And although I was formally trained in Hatha Yoga, and that's part of my toolkit, it's no longer something that I invest the time in doing. Really, my focus is with meditation.
So where do you do that? Do you do those here, or do you do it remote? Like some people do things via Skype?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I have the Skype capability, and so I hold on to that as being very viable for distance learners. My personal preference is there's a chemistry when I'm with people in person that I prefer, just as a practitioner. And so most of the people that I work with are in my office, but that's not to say the doors are closed or they're never engaged. I've had people from around the world that I've worked with in that kind of Skype capacity.
That was the other question then. When do you have like normal office hours, or do you are you like yogi on call kind of thing where you got to page you and they just call you at midnight?
No. I'm married, and that involves a life and commitment to wife. And so I basically have your workaday 9 to 5, sort of Monday through Friday hours. I will add to that I periodically do public programs. I have kirtan, chanting, and meditation programs that I put on periodically at different centers, and do public meditation programs that, as I say, they're public. So I've got some of that stuff coming up this year yet.
Okay. And then here's kind of a more in-depth question of how do you operate? I mean, do you have a process how you do
Yeah.
what you do?
Well, typically with the client-based things, well, obviously the programs that I do out of the office, those you sign up and show up. The things that people come to me for here, it begins with a half-hour complimentary assessment time. So we sit and talk so I can find out what it is that you're really looking for, because sometimes people have in mind something that they're thinking, but really when you get down to it, it winds up being something else. Or you can clarify what it is that they're really looking for. So we spend that time, and also it gives them an opportunity to, feel out whether I seem like a good fit to help them with their process. So after that, I basically will provide for them a assessment, a strategy which lays out what I think would be a good place to begin. And if they're willing to do so, we simply go from there. I don't, as a routine, suggest that people have to buy a chunk of visits with me. I don't like doing that. I will oftentimes suggest that really to get past some initial chemistry things and like dog sniffing, sometimes I'll encourage
Okay.
4 or 5 sessions with something. And at any point in time, people, if they don't wish to, they can bag that. But beyond that, if people are deriving value, then they'll continue. And it really just depends upon what their issue, need, or agenda might be. If we can get done soon, great. If they want to continue, fine. If they want to come back later, all of that works.
Okay, and now my favorite question. I love to ask this one. And that, when we had talked earlier, you'd mentioned you're also in the martial arts, and you could have been a waiter. You could have taught people how to climb mountains. Why do you do what you do?
Yeah. From when I was very little, I had a calling towards spirituality. So, and in fact, the very first word that, when I went to a dictionary, the first time that I remember at all that I could read and understand, I opened it up and I just looked. The very first word that I saw was minister. And
Wow.
that was that. And as I read it and I remember it, it said minister of good. It didn't say minister of God. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to be. So it was never a path that I had consciously chosen, but here I am this many years later, and I, in fact, am a minister. So the spiritual path, the things related to spirit, have always been that which excites me, and it's my passion. So that's what I do,
Well, that's a cool answer, because I've done a lot of these interviews and get a lot of whys they do certain things, but that's pretty cool that you open it up and see, and the concept of good instead of God. That's pretty deep. I like that.
Well, it's a good one, yeah.
It's a good one. So appreciate you all watching, and if you'd share and pass this around the world and around the universe so other people can see it. And I appreciate you taking the time.
Sure. May I direct them to my website?
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Do that.
Yeah. For anybody that wants to know more about me, my services, my website, my business is called Awake in Life, and the website is www.awake-in-life.com. I'm very open to people sending me questions, and to the degree to which I'm able to address them, I'm very happy to do so, and that's how you can find out more.
Perfect. And I will also put those links on this website, and then what I do is I propagate them out to the places that they are found. So
Great.
peace, love, and happiness. Thank
All
you
right.
again, Alan. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your life.
Ciao.